Shoot me in the face, I'll shoot you in the face. We'll see which one of us can shoot the other in the most accurate place. Stab me in the chest, I'll stab you in the chest. We'll see which one of us can stab the other in the chest the very best. If you want to die, give me a call. We'll have each other bleeding in no time at all. Our summer's ending now, it's time we fall. Hang me from the rafters and I'll hang you from the lamppost. We will see which one of us wants to end everything the most. Give me all you got, I've had a heart attack, but that was just a snack compared with what I'll do if I can't die with you. If you want to die, give me a call. We'll have each other bleeding in no time at all. Our summer's ending now, it's time we fall.
Okay, I guess you can hear me now. Okay, fantastic. So, oh, my mic is not turned off. Actually, I could change that to. Actually, I'm just going to hide that for now because, well, if anybody just happens to tune in, I can explain. We are a distribution of all of the keys to our patrons is taking a little bit of extra more time than we thought, but we are continuing work as we can. So let's see. Oh, I didn't even open up Photoshop. Look at that. So let me see. I should put on some music in the background. Or we could put on like some election news or something. I could do like Eric reacts while I work. Actually, that isn't bad. Not a bad idea. But only when I do, if I react to anything, I'm just going to be like screaming profanity. And no one wants to watch that. Let's see. Hey, little girl. How you doing, Lizzie? Come on up here. Lizzie. Oh, you're eating. Sorry. Come on, folks. There we are. Oh. Soup. By the way, the reason, well, no, I should keep the narrative going. It is my live stream, so I should keep the narrative going. Boy, am I the only one who's going to be? Well, here's the thing. It depends on how the election ends. Here in the United States. What's kind of weird is, I mean, I know this is going to happen on election night. They're going to be amazed at that a majority of white American women voted for Donald Trump. It is what it is. Not going to speculate on one. It is what it is. If things turn out badly, that's going to be something that everybody's going to be scratching their head over. I'm going to be scratching my head over it as well. I mean, I could forgive like some stupid. Yes, my goodness. Oh my goodness, Eric is criticizing men. Let's just go off of that. I am a course. I mean, again, I never bought into this whole idea that there was like this crisis in masculinity, only just a crisis of insecurity, quite frankly. And but I think I've come around on that because if, again, the majority of men in this country look at like some absolute loser like Donald Trump and think, oh yeah, and like this a chinless wonder like Andrew Tate, think, oh yeah, that's totally what I want to be, man. That's manlyhood. Yeah, yeah, there is a crisis in masculinity. I don't know what the hell caused it, but there's something seriously wrong with American men if that's their attitude. If they seriously think, oh yeah, that's masculine. That's manly, dude. That's totally man. Anyway, like I said, I don't want to go into there, but seriously, I mean, and especially like the younger generation. I mean, well, no. Here's the thing: is all judgment flees at a certain time, and we've known for a while that the younger folks in Europe were going to the hard right and fascist. Hey. Yeah, and I'm going to start. I'm going to probably rewriting. These were just a quick writing of all of this, just so we have something in there. You'll see what I'm doing in a moment. Digestive. Yeah, this is sort of just detail that's supposed to go into this art festival that's going on. I think we can move all of that out just a little bit. Back to 25. Makes it a little bit more easier to read. Somebody said there would be a time where, if I had ever had children, God forbid, there would come a time where I'd be like, I'm looking at the kids and they're literally dressing like clowns, literally like clowns. And I mean, I don't know. They're keeping their drip pretty good, as the kids say. But oh my God, the stuff they're growing up to believe. They're voting like clowns. Oh yeah, I heard them on Joe Rogan's podcast. Oh, and by the way, if you're not aware, and hey Jag, we have somebody. Hello, Jag. Hey Jag. Hey, sign into chat. It's not letting me chat. What is this? I have to sign on. Give me a moment. Just this asinine. I can't chat in the main chat. So give me a second, Jag. Are you the guy in London? I keep on forgetting. There's a guy in London we keep on running into like at ungodly hours. Okay, great. Yeah, great. You're doing this to me again. Oh, shoot up. Let's see. I'm moving over, by the way, to Opera. It just seems to have far fewer problems than Chrome does. let's see, Google. I just have a hell of a lot of accounts, and I got for some reason. Well, no, I know it doesn't sign me in automatically because it's security. That's why. So let's just see here. I have very incomprehensible passwords. Okay, now I could chat. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, you're in South Carolina? Oh, yeah, yeah. How's it going down there? I mean, did you get swiped? I don't know, but we're hearing a lot about what's going on there about the hurricanes, and I hope. I mean, goodness gracious, for the sake of humanity. I mean, you are safe and your family is safe. But yeah, I used to, like I said many times, I grew up down south in Tennessee, and I remember when the remnants of hurricanes made it up there, but I mean, when it came Tennessee way, it had to go its particular way, and much of it was, it literally had to usually go like dip inland, and that was very rare. I've been to South Carolina. I've been to every state of the U.S., but I've never been there during a hurricane. And this should be a JPEG, really. There we go. And yeah, we need to put these in. Doing the same boring crap that I always do, as you can see. They did get hit badly. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, that's one of the few places in the Carolinas I have familiarity with, and yeah, that's where the Biltmore Estate is and everything. And I remember it being a very, very just cool town. Maybe one of these days again, I'll have a chance to visit. FOV. There we go. And this is going to be course 6. Course. We may get like a little bit of just extra rain, but not much. I mean, we do. What the hell? Okay, I'm sorry. It's kind of odd, but the number, some of the keys have literally worn off on my keyboard, and I keep on hitting the. Sometimes I hit the wrong keys. I need to get a new one, new keyboard. But as I said in the description there, if I've not described it before, there's just sort of a little like hold on, let's just see here. Let me just see here. Course 3, course 6, 5, 4. 4 would be the main course. 3 would be salad. 2 would be soup. There we go. No, dessert? Oh, I keep on going the wrong direction. There we go, salad. And we need soup. There's we needs. 2. Yeah, and it's something that we wanted to add just because, yeah, essentially, geez, we can't send this off to any publishers for until we've had a chance to apply some in-game utility to the meow function. Lance, our coder, is going to be able to help us out with that on the weekend. And in the interim, I'm, Laura has been kicking ass on getting stuff done for the game today. They were just like tweaks to quests and bugs and such, and she really did well. But as I say, we're always ruled by the list, quote unquote, and it started off with, I think, about 42 items a couple of weeks ago, and of course now it's over 100. It's at 103. But we're slowly making progress. There's a guy in South Portland who's taken like on a little bit of extra. A guy in South Portland, he volunteered to do some quality control works. Quality control work. What's wrong with me? Sorry, it's been a long day. Um, and he discovered about 60 bugs that our previous people did discover, and I treat every one of his bugs as five on the normal chart, but we're close to 40% done, which means we haven't made much progress since last week. But that doesn't mean we haven't done things. It's just that a lot of stuff got piled on top of us, and as a result, I think last we were 40% done, and now we got to open up the project to get this. Sorry. I'm hoping my computer doesn't quit out on me. Um, I had a problem. Come on, Unity Hub. What's our issue here? There we go. Where my computer was shutting off several times a day, and I think it was because um, the cooler was not properly attached to the processor, and it was constantly overheating within like a couple of seconds of booting up. But it's been shorting out. But tonight I went in there with like a bus duster and a toothpick and pulled out every piece of lint and crap. When you live with three cats and another human being, two human beings, three cats, you're, there's going to be dust and dander all over the place. And yeah, my whole thing was screwed up. But yeah, yeah. Um, Oh yeah, your external hard drive. Well, again, it hasn't crashed. It crashed literally about 10 times today, 5 times in rapid succession. And I took it apart, and I think it was just the conduct. Again, I think the cooling solution, the baffle that heat dispersal unit was not properly seated on the processor. I think over the course of time, maybe the screws got loose, and they were just slow. I mean, and I, I haven't had a crash now in about 4 hours, so a shut off in about 4 hours, so I think I'm good. Mm. Yeah, but one of Lauren, my favorite things about the island out there, one of the islands we haven't visited often this year, simply because it's just too touristy. But like I said, every year they have their own sort of like local version of Burning Man out there, and um, we had to include like a variation of that in the game itself, and so this is we called it the Feast of Voices, and the exhibits are broken up into like a 6 course meal, and we wanted these little signs that would guide the visitors, even though of course none of the visitors are there. Uh, Boy, that would be really weird. Actually, no, it happened early in the morning, so the art festival would have been over, but not shut down at that time. I'm just wondering, cause something else, another feature in the game. Uh, it's sort of like I've described. Everything goes to everyone's gone to the rapture. That game, at a certain point, if you want to get you get clues of what was going on in the past by doing this weird thing with your mouse. We have something similar to that in our game, but it's a little bit more. To me, it made maybe if I couldn't play Everybody's Gone to the Rapture all the way through because it made me nauseous. Most first person games are not made with PCs in mind. They're made with the concept that somebody's going to be sitting on the couch, and playing it on their big screen television. And thusly, a lot of those games make me sick. Fortunately, some game developers are like putting in, FOV. changes, so that isn't so much of a problem. I prefer to play third person um, myself, and I think that's why, really, in the end, I made Peace Island a 3D game, a third person perspective. And man, the game would have been so much easier to do if it would have been first person. But the problem is that the cat point of view is so freaking low. Um, it just, I don't think would work. But yeah, unfortunately, it's opening up here. Dang it! It's gonna take it a couple minutes. Hopefully, everything's cool. Let me just check something here. I should put on music. Let me see here. I always assume other people are going to be playing music on their end, so I'm just going to put on The White House Tomorrow by Death in Rome. Apparently, they're going to be having an election party, this band, on election night in Germany, to just. Let's not talk about politics, because really. Yeah, what is it? Elden Ring is third person, right? I've seen it just seems all the screenshots I've seen of Elden Ring are third person. Also, The Witcher. Yeah, it's its own dynamic. I had this thought, a couple of months ago, and really, this is what I should have done. And I don't like online shooter games, but man, just to get myself established, here's a thought. Imagine a first person. You know how Steven Seagal has not been able to do many movies where he's actually standing up or moving, and he's always in his chair. I was thinking of doing it would be so simple to do. Like a first person shooter where the person is in a chair and your center of gravity is on your butt rather than where your feet are, and you only have you can only like scoot around in a chair and shoot. So basically it would be like Steven Seagal's shooter. And what you would do is in the chair that you're on would have actual physical damage that could happen, like the people shooting it, you could actually shoot out the wheels on your chair. And what would happen if your chair broke down, you'd only be able to make it 5 feet before you'd have a heart attack and just like collapse. And that jeez, why didn't I do that? Just a procedurally generated just map, multi online shooter where the mechanic is that you're a fat ass like Steven Seagal in a office chair. Uh, if they ever invent a time machine, I'll create a alternate universe where that happened, and then I'll go to the universe where that succeeded and kill that version of myself and take his place or her. Anyway, yeah. Think about. I mean, if anybody. By the way, that is not my property. The concept of like a Steven Seagal shooter where you can't get out of your office chair. Feel if anybody makes it, just give me credit. Is that all? That's all I ask. Jeez. Sorry, we're in the most complex scene right now, so you're just gonna have to forgive this because I'm gonna have to switch to an anime because it's loading so much crap. Because I would love to play that game. Give me a free Steam key and credit if anybody out there wants to make a Steven Seagal for FPS first person shooter, and there will be health boosts. Like everybody, I think sacks of flour and carrots, because everybody's seen that video of Steven Seagal in Belarus eating that huge carrot. So, again, feel free and let your anybody's free to use this, and and then somebody does that and they'll make 30, they sell 30 million copies, and I'm sitting here a year later still working on this. Oh, such is life. Oh goodness. Remember, I'm hearing nothing but complaints. Oh, and I mean, I listen when it comes to game criticism. Anybody who shits on Bethesda, number one, and a James Stephanie Sterling, number two, and I have heard nothing but complaints from them about this trend of game developers just, I mean, these publishing houses coming out with the shooters, these quote unquote open world procedurally generated, online shooters, because they don't have to hire many artists, they don't have to hire many writers, no writers at all. It's because they assume the players are going to make their own story. Oh, and you're wondering how come I like, enjoy anybody who craps on Bethesda. It ties back to this whole thing of creating your own story. Anybody who remembers the early days of Fallout 76, that utter like diaper fire, diaper dumpster fire, um, will remember that the big thing is that there was no NPCs, and there was very little story about what outside of what you could read and listen to. And what happened was, is some people who they were like, we love Fallout so much, and we really and we want Fallout 76 to succeed, that they actually created a core of people that were. Now, what I need to do is I need to open up a new scene because these things that I'm going to build are going to be just separate. I'm going to place them later. Yeah, empty. That's great. Yeah, save. Um, and what they did was they had this core of people that would stay on Fallout 76 all day long and act like NPCs and create their own game world with it. I mean, because Bethesda wasn't doing it. And I think Bethesda banned all those players. I just, and Bethesda, I've watched so many videos, and I mean, like everybody who's ever played open world, adventure games. I was a Bethesda. I had the love hate relationship with Bethesda that everybody does. I mean, to be a Bethesda fan is sort of like being a Boston Red Sox fan, or what is it? That one team hasn't been in the World Series in forever. They're like, yeah, they screw up, but damn it, they get things right. But man, Bethesda, it's their big problem is that they let the suits dictate. That's a problem with every game developer, game publisher these days, and it's because game. I mean, really, I'm sorry, going through here, our stuff, yeah. So textures, signs. I hope that I have yes, I do have the FOV chef. Excellent, because that's where we need these. So, piece on screenshot signs. Bring these guys over, course. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, did I save it to the desktop? Was I not thinking? There they are. Recent files. Dig it. I mean, because video game industry is now the biggest entertainment industry on planet Earth. Of course, it is the most corrupt industry on planet Earth. It is the place full of vipers. It is a dark forest. It is a horrible, horrible place. And the thing is, when I went into this, I kept on going. I mean, man, I listened to James Stephanie Sterling, and I believe that's how they identify themselves these days. Um, just laid it out in video after video how awful these corporations are. And I mean, it wasn't, for the longest time I was like, oh yeah, publisher, we just need a publisher, we need a publisher. And now I realize, really, publishers exist just to screw you over. That is what they do. And they're an unfortunate, unnecessary evil in this world. Because really, what we're going to do to give our away our like future plans here is we want to sign with a publisher so that we can get game object, so that we can get enough money to basically finish the game. And yeah, it's taken forever. I think I've explained why it took forever many, many times, and I don't want to go over it again because it just really cheeses me off big time. And I never put on any music. I'm sorry, Grandpa Eric is rambling. It just is. He just is. He rambles. So, where's my cube? All right, yeah. You know, my computer is like the computer of Theseus, by the way. If you're not familiar with the concept of the ship of Theseus, I'll pause the video now and go to Wikipedia and look it up because this computer has literally had every part of its interior replaced. Everything from the processor to the graphic card to the motherboard to I think maybe the sound card has not been changed, but yeah, the theme of this Burning Man sort of event, like I said, Feast of Voices. So as you go through the event, there are going to be these little signs that like direct people about what's going on, and but also in a creative way, an artistic way. But what I need to do is I need to convert this chef into its own prefab. Because I want to add a little thing that makes it just move back and forth a little bit. Not shake, but just rotate gently to keep, you want stuff in motion to keep the lizard brain engaged. No offense, gamers that might be watching this. But yeah, okay, one thing we need to do is we need to add a metallic map to that because otherwise we're going to be screwed. And we want to smooth this way down, maybe a little bit. And we'll smooth this way down on this guy here as well. Excellent. Now, what we also want to do is we want to add a, first I'll center that in our view. Audio source. Because, do I have the cage? Did I ever bring that in? Let's see. Maybe I never saved it there. But I have it here. Peace Island audio. Because, by the way, if you're, let's see, Cajuns, the folks in southern Louisiana that speak the patois, etc. If you're not aware, the word they were actually originally from Canada to the northeast of us here in Maine. They were forcibly moved just in the way, just same way, sort of like the Cherokee were moved in the Trail of Tears. But because they were white, they were probably treated a little bit better. Anyway, so there's a great deal of like French Canadian. The Cajun culture down in Louisiana is actually not from French culture that existed there back when that was a French colony. It actually comes from French Canada. Crazy how history works out, eh? Yeah, chef sound. Here we go. I didn't put the chef sound in, so because I wanted just some sort of like Cajun sort of thing. Because just a loop like that. And by the way, I always liked Cajun music for a certain reason, and I never realized until recently. And there is such a influence of Cajun music on in the Residents. If you're not familiar with the Residents, the band. Oh my goodness, you got a lot of stuff to look into. Let's see audio. And for some reason, as a result, yeah, Cajun music always had a little bit of a surrealness to it, to me. And that's why also, those Cajun people that were the Acadian people who went down to, New the Louisiana, that part are now considered Cajuns. They were again relegated to the lowest class of society, and that's why again it's one of the few places where you could see white poverty that's every bit as bad as black poverty in the United States. Oh, Eric, you're being woke again. Shut up, shut up. Don't talk about things like that. Pronouns? I want to play game? Pronouns? Anyway. And I think I touched on this the other day, and it needs to be said again. That guy who complains so much about pronouns is Starfield. And let me tell you, I'm no defender of Starfield. Uh, that guy, of course, had his head up his butt in so many ways, but what really struck me about this is in the far future. This game takes place in the far, far future. I'm surprised there weren't 1,500 genders and pronouns you could identify with. I mean, it's just odd. It's just odd to me that people just get crazy and angry about stuff that makes no sense. Okay, loop, play on awake. We want that spatial blend 3D. And I'm going to keep a little bit of the Doppler level on it because I want it. The Doppler sounds a little bit bizarre because it always, just changes the pitch as the camera moves around. And having a little bit of that effect on it would be cool. And I really wanted about 10 points. We'll see how it looks like in the main game. Because I don't want too much overlap of sound within the game. I think that's good for the time being, really. Off the top of my head, I don't want to write the code for having the chef just tilt back and forth gently. I'll do that at a later time. I mean, writing code, I mean, trust me, I know my streams are boring, but writing code just takes it up to the next level of dull. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, we're going to call this chef. And what we want is we want 6 of these because it's a 6-course meal. Let's see, 6 course. So really, we just need 2 more. So I was confused. I don't care for the price. Here's the thing. I I used to be just like, yeah, whatever. I'll call you dude, whatever, and I'm still pretty much that way. But there's a little part of me where I had to just actually, dang it, I just realized I made a mistake. I didn't do the backside. My attitude is I'll take all the pronouns you got. It doesn't bother me as much. Cause really, hey, if I here's I have met so few people. I am 54 years old, and this whole pronoun stuff, has only come around since that drug addict weirdo in Canada, Jordan Peterson became so anally retentive about it. I guess I don't know. He's just I don't like Jordan Peterson. But anyway, the whole like trans thing was not a big thing, not, and it really isn't because really understand the trans community and people who identify by just like you know pronouns that would be confusing to the average person are one and maybe one in a thousand. I mean I live in a very very progressive town, and I've met only a couple of people who that would be an issue with. And I guarantee you, considering I live in such a progressive area, part of the country, and I've only encountered that a couple of times, uh, I guarantee you it's not a problem at all in the middle of the country. The red states, the flyover states, as they call them, and we shouldn't call them the flyover states. That's demeaning. But the square states. Um, it. I mean, Jeez, again, it's not a problem for me because I've so rarely encountered anybody that's required that. I mean, today, I mean, these days I've discovered dude. I mean, dude basically covers anything. So if it ever gets confusing for me, I'm just defaulting to dude. And I should have done that because I will tell you a story. This last year, I was out on Cliff Island and I had a discussion with somebody, and I misgendered them because for the first time in my life, I actually misgendered somebody out of accident. And I did not know that they were female to male. Hey, I know no skin off of my nose. It was just somebody I had a discussion with, and I was just like, oh, because I called them a her in front of their friend, and their friend corrected me, and I was like, oh my god, oh, yeah, I did feel embarrassed, but I mean, heck, they took no offense at it because, geez, there's a great documentary by Will Ferrell and like one of his old friends that apparently one of his friends from SNL days went through a transition, and it's geez, I'd say it's worth watching. Because I think one of the reasons, can I just say, one of the reasons that we have a problem with transsexuals in this country, and I'm just going to lay this out there. When you meet the older in the film about the transsexual, a friend of Will Ferrell, you come to the realizations that the people who, in most of the popular opinion about transsexuals, we have that mental image because unfortunately these people were denied proper gender affirming care when it would have made their voices less masculine and maybe their bodies a little bit less. But for I mean, we're now living in a world where people in their 50s and 60s and 40s can come out and and affirm their gender. And geez, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that does suck. That absolutely sucks. That that is why the popular misconception about the trans community is that way, because unfortunately most of the people who went through that in days past. Oops, dang it! I need to create a second channel. And I mean, I do understand. I mean, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't agree with transphobia, but I understand it because it is the last, I mean, unless people, I mean, and trust me, I'm not, that is the biggest shift that a human being can possibly really make as an individual. And I understand that is confusing to people. Uh, but, the way I see it is that, heck, a hell of a lot of us in this world, we feel that we don't belong. We have, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. And um, imagine that. I mean, me being on the spectrum, like I said, I don't get along with people. No, sorry, black. I'm not, I'm an asocial individual. I've been out every time I'm out on the ferry. I just hundreds of people on there having a party, a booze cruise, and I'm just quiet in the corner. I think a lot of us feel alienated from the world around us, and um, I understand the average trans person feels the same way, but 1,000 times worse because well, again, you have to watch, maybe watch this documentary and watch watch his friend talk about how the first time he took his estrogen and how he felt. I'm sorry, how she felt so much better about themselves and their lives and such. And heck, anybody who goes through that amount of alienation and is willing to just go up in the face of society and say, I have to do this to feel good about myself, to feel as if I belong, as if I am comfortable in my own skin. I can only respect that. Yes, I may get the pronouns screwed up from time to time, but I can only respect that. Um, because understand, I mean, there's a hell of a lot. I mean, Steve Hassan was talking about, and there is unfortunately, this, of course, on Reddit, because that's the way Reddit always works. Damn it. Um, sorry. Ooh, my head. I just got back. Is that on Reddit and some of these online forums, there's unfortunately just, some people are being pressured socially to transition. And Steve Hassan, the guy who's like the cult deprogrammer, he's identified that there is problems within that community with, that they are that there are some elements of that community that are developing sort of like, come and join us, and because of the same social pressure that causes all young people to do crazy things, some people try to transition because they run into these groups and afterwards they have to detransition. But here's the thing: is that again, this is a this is the huge last leap of identity that a human being can make. And there are always, unfortunately, going to be crazies in every group and such that are going to turn it into something that it was not. And fortunately, there are people within the trans community that are, taking that are self-policing and such because they don't want that associated with their community any more than any other community would. But yeah, let me see here. I wanted to make a black version of this chef, not a black version of the chef, but I wanted. Mm, I'm reading your chats, by the way. That's true. Um, Great works. Oh, thank you, thank you. Futurama is a great one. Here, boy, Futurama. You touch sort of a raw nerve with that one, because here's the thing. I see what they're doing with Futurama. Understand the new thing in media these days is not like they put it. It's not great, fantastic chef. FOV chef black because I want the backside of the chef. FOV chef B. Okay, so screw it. I'm just gonna go this way. Save it that way. Put it on PNG. Sorry, I went on and on about like something that here's the, I don't like talking about the whole trans thing because when I do, I feel like a white guy talking about the black experience. You know what I'm talking about? I only know from secondhand experience, and I'm perfectly comfortable in I'm cisgender totally. But I just again save optimize. I'm losing my track of mind here. So what we want it back here is FOV art chef black B. Okay, fantastic. It always kicks me. I love how this always kicks me into the most recent window that I've been using. FOV chef B. Oh no, that's a project. Ha. And also, can I just say about the whole trans thing? Is my attitude: if you don't like trans people, don't be a trans person. There are 8 billion freaking people in this world, and it's going to be a crazy. It just is what it is. We're going to be me, and I think, but within my lifetime, there are going to be other crazy things. Have you ever? There's a great comic book called Transmetropolitan. Um, and if I mean, I'm not equating. One of the many sub stories within Transmetropolitan, this comic book, is oops, damn it, is that geez, the way that it's framed is that several decades ago, geez, I just realized what I did here. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get this. Before the narrative of the story began, apparently aliens, actual straight up bona fide aliens, came to the United States or the world in this, Oh, I see what I got to do. Sorry, game object, 3D object, plane. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Idiotin. Um, and what happened is basically they came here. We gave them a little bit of land called New Vilnius. Apparently, they landed over in Estonia, the former Soviet Union. And at that point, humanity had become just sort of like, oh yeah, okay, okay, we met aliens and everything, and the only thing they didn't have much in the way of technology to give us, but what they had is their genes, and there were a certain segment of the human population in Transmetropolitan who are like, I'm so fascinated with this. I identify with these people. These new people have come here. I don't feel at home with any of my fellow humans, and hopefully there's something within them that I will feel, more identified with, and they're called the transient community. And what they do is they literally the aliens start trading their gene, like their genetic code, and just like you can go into a tattoo parlor in the United States now, and just about well any country in the world nowadays, and Transmetropolitan, you can go into a place and have your genes swapped out, and slowly transition. Either you can become a bird for half a day or something. It's a fantastic comic series. I wish I could pull one out. Um, the main character is a little bit of Hunter S. Thompson, um, little bit of Maynard James Keenan from Tool. He's a really cool character. He has cats too. He has a cat that, well, they love each other, but they hate each other. He's a cat owner. Spider Jerusalem is his name. But I do not doubt that if we ever were to meet aliens and we had that technology, there would be people who are like, I would want to do that. And again, no skin off my nose. Yeah, hey, it's your life. We're only there. I forget. Henry, it was either Pliny the Elder or Pliny the Younger. I think it was Pliny the Younger who just pointed out the obvious. We are only here once. You are only given one time. There is no respawn. There is no restart of any game. You are not in a video. This is life. You're only out to grab all you can. Do if you feel that exploring that part of humanity, of being human, is essential. Please go ahead, do it. This I give not that you need my approval, but good, please go ahead, do it because again, heavens, it is better to go to your grave regretting choices that you did made rather than choices that you did not. Just saying. I'm sorry, I went off on an end there. Okay, this is good enough, I think. So we have these all these guys here. Finally, so we add a game object. What the hell? How come it's throwing me all over this place? So chef. We're just gonna call it chef because it's gonna definitely create different things. All right, duplicate. Get rid of this. Yeah, Henry Rollins, I think, was the guy who told me about. I mean, the whole thing about you're only through this thing once. And I need to listen to more of Henry Rollins. Hopefully, he's still a cool guy. But I mean, after my father passed away, I went through a very long time of just wondering, what the heck. I don't know. You do a lot of reevaluation of your life once one of your relative, your parents passes away. And I will say that Henry Rollins helped me a lot because and this is spoken word stuff because, well, I won't go into that because mom might be watching. I don't know. I was told after my father passed away that I was wasting my life hanging out with weird people and doing weird stuff, and I really should just. Why can't I be this guy, a normal person, and get a job somewhere, and go to an office, go to an office every day or a store where, you know, everything is steady and everything is nice and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know. Well, I was wondering if there was everything wrong with me at that time because, well, of some toxic influences. But Henry Rollins laid it out for me. I just started watching these spoken word videos and where he will stand there and talk nonstop for 2.5 hours. And the closer he gets to the end of it, the faster he goes, the faster he goes. And it's only because he wants to tell you more. And when he stops, it's like now he's in his 60s. He's maybe slowed down a bit, but man, I don't know. He had that thing about Pliny the whoever said that very obvious and also very important thing that we're only through this thing once. And honest to goodness, going back to the trans thing, I mean, honest to goodness, if that person is only through this mortal coil once, and honest to goodness, if they spend their entire lives just never feeling themselves, oh my goodness, that is the worst of all fates. Uh, Wishing, I mean, always feeling uncomfortable, wishing that they were somebody else, etc., etc. Never feeling like they had a place et cetera, et cetera. And if, honest to goodness, if calling them a different calling them a different pronoun and allowing them to go through like some a surgery to help them with that, no, jeez, who am I to stand in their way? My goodness. In fact, anybody who stands in their way is like, I think, just I mean, honest to goodness, like Tim Waltz says, mind your own damn business. And it's strange that the left is having to like retake conservative values, like, just no, not liberals, but the left. I hope I don't know whether I said liberals to the left, but anyway, the left is having to reclaim things like, just individual sovereignty and things like that in this crazy world, this political situation that we're in. I want to add a black metallic map to all of these signs because otherwise they'll be unreadable. It's the thing that keeps light from reflecting off of it. I mean, there was one person, and I consider them sort of an influence. Um, the artist Genesis P. Orridge. He after his wife died. What was her name? I can't believe I forgot her name. Anyway, after his wife passed away, understand they had like gotten into this weird thing where they were literally getting plastic surgery, Genesis and his wife, to look more like each other. And there were so many times where I saw Genesis being interviewed about what he was doing, and even after his wife's death. And I'd have to call Genesis a they. I mean, I don't think Genesis was. I mean, he barely. He's one of those few. I mean, right up there with Prince, and just a weird person that we were privileged enough to share a planet with for a short period of time. But Genesis P. Org, yeah, him and his wife were getting, and after she passed away, he continued with it, and a lot of people are going, "Oh, it's all about gender and breaking down." He's like, "No, it has nothing to do with gender. I just this is how I feel closer to the memory of my late wife." And again, hey, more power to you, Jen. Who am I to stand in your way? I think there's a dang it. No, I'm gonna have to put something in there. Because I mean, I live by the thing is, as long as it doesn't hurt me or anybody else or any animals, heavens, do be what thou wilt. Uh, do what thou shalt. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I forget Aleister Crowley's. By the way, I'm not into Crowley or any of the occult crap. I knew somebody who was back in the day. Boy, that's a story. Thereby hangs a tale. Boy, let me tell you. Yeah, if you meet anybody who's into Crowley or Telema or any of that crap, yeah, run as fast as you can in the opposite direction because they're up to no good. 'Cause, well, trust me, I just I knew somebody that was very much into that, and let's just say, literally, the nation of Canada had to come up with had to this individual caused a problem when he was caught in Canada because you see he was caught with a amount of CP uh, CP, I'm pretty sure you know what that means. That had never been encountered before in Canadian history. And he was put in jail, and they were trying to figure out what the hell to do with them. And I think literally they had to write new laws to deal with that guy. So again, anybody who's into Aleister Crowley or anything like that, I mean, come on. I've never met a sane person that was not. Do I regret meeting this person? Yes, but heavens. Again, when you go back to the whole thing, was I've been only around this mortal coil once. I can at least say, hey, I met an absolute lunatic. I have met. I mean, this guy was Alistair, not Alistair Crowley. He was Charles Manson, straight up Charles Manson. He now lives in a town in Illinois where there's. I found this out. It was kind of strange looking into this. I mean, apparent there are towns in this country that are incorporated but have no schools anywhere within them. And so these little select communities, that's where all these pedos wind up going. And yeah, if I ever met this individual again, I will not say because of, I don't want to be advocating violence, but I definitely, let's just say, I hope he's having a miserable life. I hope that he spends every day in misery. Anyway, okay, so we have our 4 courses, our 6 course meal. Let's see, appetizer, soup, salad. How come that one is black and the other ones aren't? This is weird. Huh. Strange, because that one is like really black and reflective, and these other ones aren't. I'm going to go to the restroom and I will be right back. I'm going to consider this while I'm in the restroom. In the interim, I'm just going to play this. I'll see ya.
Und ich warte auf den Regen. Ich höre dem Regen zu und liebe den Regen, der die Paradiese blank wäscht und ertränkt.
This one's for us. Forget to rest. Say goodbye to those gray, gloomy skies that get you. So did Forrest. I'm gonna meet you. Backseat on Barbara at the gates of the White House tomorrow. Get left out, let's set a lead. Let's can follow us to the gates of the White House tomorrow.
Sorry, too much shininess. Yeah. I'm not, I'm trying to avoid thinking about the election as much as possible because I'm afraid. I am literally afraid of what our country's going to do, and I don't even want to go into it. Forget the rest. Say goodbye to those bright, gloomy skies that get you so depressed. Yeah. So my next step here is I want to place these in my white bench scene to make sure that they, are saved. And number 2, pretty good, things considered. The other day, we had to update one of our systems. Yesterday, I had to update my system. I'm sorry, we had to update. What's wrong with my brain? Our vegetation system. And boy, it took me about 10 minutes to do the conversion, but it took me 6 hours to get it uploaded to our server. It was one of those situations where you just felt so frustrated because it was just some sort of snafu. I eventually got it done about 9:30. All right, so by the way, it seems that I have this ability to reach out to musical groups initially very successfully, but it seems every time I screw it up because, as I probably discussed, and I don't know that I did, but I reached out to VNV Nation to see if we could use their music in our game. They initially first got in contact with us, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we totally get in touch with us. We'd love to talk to you." Got in touch with them, never heard from them again. I figured this was like because they were on tour or something. I do not know. So and in the end, I thought maybe VNV Nation was just too popular of a band, and they just couldn't be bothered with this tiny project from the States. Where's the floor? What the hell's going on here? Yeah, our terrain's gone in here. This is weird. But yeah, I got in touch with Death in Rome, asking them if we could use an instrumental of one of their pieces of music, and they were initially very, very positive. And then they just disappeared. It's sort of annoying when that happens over and over. I just wrote to them. Run it again. Because I wanted a song with a very big. I mean, the only way I could describe it is the big sound that I wanted for the final part of the game. At the final part of the game, Elizabeth, the cat that you take control of at the very beginning of the game, she and Zach, who I really can't get into because he's a very special cat, they take their boat ride over to Catnip Ledge Lighthouse, which is the the eventual point of the game, and we wanted to really just good piece of music to play in the back, because if you've ever played Fallout, you know at a certain point Ron Perlman, if he describes, you did this, you did this, you did this, and we wanted that boat ride over from Peace Island to Catnip Lighthouse to be that time where Zach just communicates to the player, all the stuff that you've done, and it's supposed to be the penultimate point of the game, the most like important part of the game, like the emotional denouement, as it were. And we really want a good piece of music for that. And it's just very hard to get, it seems. How come I'm constantly having... Okay, we're having a problem here. And we're in an eternal search for that piece of music. Let's see, hold on. Make sure that the legs are not screwed up on these. Okay, good. And it's supposed to be the point. I mean, really. We want people crying at that point of the game. Got to tip our, emotional hand there. So let me see. So we want to put these in sector P. So we want to go to our veg scene, and that's going to be huge. Oh no, but we want to put them here so we could walk by them and hear how the music was. Because really, I mean, if that was one thing. One of the impetuses behind me wanting to, figuring it was time to do a game like this. Well, not a game like this, but to do this game. Sorry, I'm looking for Game Manager. This white box is so disorganized. I remember just hearing these people after they played God of War 2. They were like, "Oh, I've been cooked by this game." Yeah, cooked by this game, because apparently it's one of those few games that can make the manly men cry. And it's stupid to me. Games, the video game industry now is by orders of magnitude larger than the entire movie industry. And it's time for video games to act the part. Video games have the ability, they are the complete art. They used to call opera the complete art. And that it was music, visual design, songwriting, stage set, setting, and costume design. It was the total art. And game development, you can't tell me that there are the emotional range of gaming should be far beyond just victory and defeat. There should be so many other options. And in fact, I think one of the things that really killed, one of these great directors. Shit, sorry. Spawn, sorry. They tried to get into opening a video game studio, and it basically died on delivery because they said it. They're out to. I want to create games that expand the emotional palette of games. I want to make games that make people cry or wonder or there are so many things that could be related to games, the emotions and such. When I saw these people playing these games, oh, I've been cooked by a game. You're that afraid of admitting you felt emotions at something, of playing a game. These people worked hard to inculcate those emotions within you, and you think that's a bad thing? Oh my God, no, that's an absolute masterclass. There's a really short game called Before Your Eyes. It's a game that you have to play with your camera on, because it's controlled by blinking your eyes. And it's about this guy's life from infancy, and every time you blink your eyes, you're put forward. First time I ever played that game, I cried. And I thought, 10 stars. Any game that can make you feel that deeply. I mean, yeah, it isn't about screaming about beating something up. It's about an experience you went through. And I can't recommend it enough. It's like maybe it's less than $10. Before Your Eyes. It's excellent. Voltaire, the ride. Is it a game? Voltaire. I'm just gonna look that up. Is it a game? Oh, Voltaire, the vegan vampire. Is that what you're talking about? I can see it got really high marks. Oh, Lair of Voltaire. Lair of Voltaire. No, Voltaire's Lair. Oh. When I look up Voltaire's Lair, it's like a game. Okay. Oh, you're talking about Voltaire, the writer, Cabaret Voltaire, and the stuff. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that Voltaire. Man, I during that era of Cartoon Network, you're talking about the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I was more into Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab. Um, that was my thing. I never really got into that series all that much. Was that one of Hartman's? That guy the guy Bush Hartman. Now that's kind of hard to read. That shouldn't be that hard to read, but the player can zoom in. Final, yeah. And that's the thing. We want people when they play this game to actually. I mean, one of the things we're concerned about is people are. I mean, the pace of this game is going to be very slow. We expect people to play this game like it's a book that they pick up and they read a few pages and they come back to it later. This isn't like. I mean, there are going to be action. I mean, parts of the game that do have like action, but we really just expect people to just hang out. And it's a game for introverts. Uh, let's see. Okay, cool. How come I don't hear it? Hold on. Yeah, there we go. That deep bass over there, you can barely hear it, but yeah. All right. Oh yeah, you're up there. Yeah, let me just. We. Yeah, you hear that deep bass there? I added that. I had to add more, like, really pump up some sounds in the games. Oh, look at that. Now it just drops that. Oh well. Hopefully that's not the same one, because I did a lot of work. Actually, that sound is, like, far away. You should only be able to hear that from, like, about 5 feet away. And by the way, as I've said many times before, if you wanted to, I don't blame you if you wanted to now, because this is kind of dull. So, let me see audio source. I'll get all the audio sources. Because after this, let me see what time it is. It's not. Oh my goodness, 9:21. I'm probably going to place them in this one sector and then sign off. I just haven't streamed on YouTube in a while, and there are always people who are going, "Oh, you gave up on it. Whatever. You're not doing it anymore, etc., etc." Actually, what this very localized sound. Let's just see here. How come the audio sources are all the way out there? WTF, dude? You see the what the heck? What the heck? You have to move all these back into place. That's very odd that the sound was. Where did I put them? Yeah, right there. And it's strange. How come we heard the audio? Maybe I accidentally just, kajiggered them a long way away. Just weird how those sound. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I think at 9:30 I really should quit. A little bit before, maybe 9. I'll quit at 9:45. But yeah, that's very odd. But these are modeled on yeah, the sacred. There is a event out on Peaks Island, Maine, and I don't mind saying this in a YouTube video that very few people are ever going to watch. But in later autumn, out on one of the islands in Casco Bay, there is a little art. There's like Maine's version of Burning Man. It only lasts for about 8 hours, and it's a very small location. But heck, and the last few have not all been all that great because unfortunately it's become very popular, and so you have too many people showing up. But also because it's sort of like lost that feeling that you are attending something special because of so many people being there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they've had really great exhibits there and something, but it's lost a little bit of that exclusivity. And we wanted to add something, a version of that in the game. It's called Sacred and Profane. And if anybody in Maine wants to know how to attend this event, they don't advertise it. You have to know somebody who knows what it is. It's only spread about through word of mouth. And if you go to the Green Hand Bookstore, I'm not going to tell you where the Green Hand Bookstore is, but if you go to the Green Hand Bookstore on the day that the owner is there, she will be able to tell you when it is. And that's another part of the whole event. When you attend it, you don't widely broadcast it. Okay, so I want to pop these into sector. And by the way, Burning Man sucks. I would never, ever, ever freaking go to Burning Man. The Sacred Profane has it still has that wonderful bit of creativity and improvisation and God. I mean, if you're not aware, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, Burning Man has got to. Mark Zuckerberg apparently went to Burning Man. He flew in a private jet. He was driven in a private car to a compound where he basically his whole experience was slumming it by serving pancakes to other people in his billionaire's party there. It started out as an art event. I'd never go to Burning Man, but you know this tiny event out on this small island in Maine. Yeah, I'll totally go there. Um, Hopefully last year's was canceled because the day 2 days no the day before they had it all set up and ready to go, but the day before Maine had its first mass shooting. We have never had, believe it, yeah, we're one of the few states that has not had a huge mass shooting. And that day, the day before Sacred Profane was supposed to start, they had a mass shooting, and every business in the state shut down after 5 p.m. on that day and all public events were canceled to make sure that this one guy would not be able to be. I mean, there was a whole statewide manhunt for this guy, and he destroyed our event. Yeah, and that sucked. That really sucked because um, when Sacred Profane is good, I consider it. I mean, it's better than Christmas or even my birthday. It's the one day that yes, it's awesome. It's going to be awesome. So, dang it, I lost 750. Yeah, gonna place these inside the chunk, and then I think I'm gonna call it Quincy's for the day because. Well, how long have I been at this? I think I started at 10:41, so now I'm coming up on 11 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna quit at 9:41. That'll make 11 hours straight that I've been at this. All right, move these guys into position. And believe it or not, if you're not aware, there are I mean, there are literally Burning Man's, small, like ancillary event. It's almost like a chain now. But I mean, they don't have to call themselves a burn. I mean, I forget what they call it in Tennessee. There's one in Tennessee, believe it or not, of all places. There's a Burning Man in Tennessee, and South Africa and Israel, and ours is well, just again very small, but very fun. I spent a couple years. I mean, before I started doing a video game, actually, this is the last thing I could show. Is that I every year after Sacred Profane, I would for 3 years I made sort of like an outfit for it or a mask that I would wear, and each year it got I came back. I would work the entire year on the mask, and as soon as the very next day after Sacred Profane, I would start working on the next year's mask. I haven't done that in a while. I think it basically all stopped when COVID hit, really. Of course, yeah. Nothing's going to kill an art event like COVID. Overwrite this. Because these have to be placed in that main scene, Veg 33. And that's just too big. That scene by itself takes about 3 minutes to open. But let me see here. Just give me a second. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring this up while this is. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, see if I can bring them all down. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Yeah, these were the three mat. This was the first one, and it's made out of you see, it's just sort of like a bird sort of thing, and it has EL wire around it that lit up white. Uh, the green color on it is actually copper verdigris. There's a paint you can buy that actually creates real rust. Um, it you first lay down a suspension of metal particles, and then you're given this stuff that makes it rust, and it's really cool. And the second mask I made was also out of that foam, the spray foam, the stuff that you use to caulk stuff you buy at hardware stores. But here's what I found is that if you uh, spray it and then give it a second and then put it down and spray water on top of it, the surface will harden, and then you could tamp it down. and you can make the surface really, really hard and strong. This is also EL wire and such. And what was really crazy about this is that I had like this whole like cage assembly inside the mouth where there would be a speaker that would play. It was just basically drone like music and stuff. But yeah, that took me. And this was the last one that I ever did. This was paper mache. I didn't know that you could do stuff like this in paper mache. Um, and it's kind of hard. But yeah, you had the EO wire and the two chambers inside like the beak area here, they are hollow, and so you had purple light on the outside, and I would have like yellow light on the inside of the beak, and goodness, jeez, it was the visor is gone. I'm gonna have to find it. But yeah, I spent a whole year on that, and I painted it because you can see on the back here. You got some like ants crawling on the leaf there, and it was supposed to be from all the stars in the galaxy there, and the clouds and autumn colors and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna try and maybe wear this again at the next event that they have. But yeah, paper mache is crazy, but you got to be patient. You just got to let it dry and come back every like 5 minutes or so and just tap it, and you can create stuff that's like hard as wood. I mean, when I tell people this is paper mache, they're like, "What the hell?" Because it's solid as wood. I mean, it's quite heavy too. After a couple of hours of wearing this, but anyway, I gotta go. Gotta get back to work. Well, no, I think I'm done with work for the evening because tomorrow I'm gonna lay these guys down. Hey, I probably rambled on about Grandpa Eric rambled on a lot during this live cast. Um, Hopefully, those who tune in the future are not too, well. No, I do not blame you if you're going to be completely bored with it because it is what it is. Uh, like I said, I do not have any complaints about the game development job that I have. Best job that I've ever had, really straight up. Even though, despite the frustration and everything, but 99% of game development is just very dull work. And that's why I stream. Anyway, guys, gals, and those in between, I will probably be here in a couple more days or whatever. I don't know when next time we'll be here, but I thank you for tuning in and appreciate it. Jag, nice talking to you. Take care.